Welcome everybody back to the stream. We have Toxic and FraZe coming up as our next very hot match, I gotta say. And you know, FraZe just played against Demon and he lost, and now he's got an even harder opponent. Can't feel too good.
But he said he's feeling a little bit better after that. He's been managed to warm up more and more because he's switching between keyboards and whatever.
Yeah.
He's feeling better. That's the thing. Tox, I spoke to him a little bit. I guess I'm not going to give anything away now because we do have a Tox interview. So I think one of the smart things for us to do is we'll bring it over to the Tox interview.
Hi everyone, my name is Natalia and we're here at DreamHack Winter 2013. I'm here with Toxic and I'm just going to ask some questions. So, Toxic, how do you feel about your previous games?
It felt pretty good. It always takes some time to warm up, and in the end it felt like things was going my way, and I'm looking forward to my next game because the more games you play, the more warm you will be for the next.
Of course, of course. How are you feeling about your upcoming game against FraZe?
Actually, I never seen him play, but I heard that he is a good player, and especially on the new maps and like Arrow Walk and Toxicity, and that might be my weak maps. So I think it will be a tough game for me, and I have to really play well to beat him, and I will try my best to do so.
Well, great. How are you feeling about the whole tournament? Are you feeling prepared? Are you going to win?
I feel as good as I can be right now. I feel I put in the hours needed to get in shape, but I can't say that I expect to win, but of course everyone here wants to win, but it's a really hard struggle to make it all the way, because even if you beat one of the top ranks, you can mess up against a lower rank, and it's hard to predict how it's going to go, but I hope to at least play my best game and hope to make it as far as possible.
Well, I wish you good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wow, so FraZe being a bit more, good at the new maps, and maybe that's just a weakness for Toxic. That's an interesting insight there.
Tox being very modest in the interview, though.
He is quite a modest guy,
Yeah.
actually, considering his achievements and considering like how he is when he's playing, and he's quite a machine when he's actually in the groove of things. And I think everyone experienced that in the Quake 4 days.
I think he's trying to just build his confidence in this tournament a little bit. He's only played a couple of games, and he says that they were a little bit narrow. He just wanted to get a feel for his opponent, not go anything too berserk aggressive, and really just make sure he can settle those victories and move on to his harder opponents.
Yeah.
FraZe certainly going to be a tough one. I think the first map's going to tell us a lot, but also the second, because the first one's Toxicity, very fast map. And then we're going to go over to Blood Run. Not such a fast map, but it can be depending on how Tox is feeling.
Yeah, and this is going to be very interesting for FraZe, because after losing to Demon, the pressure starts to mount on his shoulders, and he's now pressured to perform against someone who, on paper, is better than Demon. And I mean, it's hard to say how much better Toxic is than Demon, because Demon's shape can fluctuate. And Toxic, we haven't seen a huge amount of his shape recently. But actually, the last time I did see him play was against FraZe, and that game he did display a very, very high level of game. I think much higher level than we've seen of him in the last year or so. So, I mean, Toxic really seems like he's much more prepared than he has been for past events in the last year that he's played.
No, I think we can expect some absolutely great things from them. And I think we should get ourselves into the game extremely soon. In fact, I'm going to tell them that we're ready. They are sitting on Toxicity at the moment, and in fact they're readying up right now. So guys, this is DreamHack Winter 2013, the Quake Live Championship. We are in game now. Tox from Sweden and FraZe from Australia. We are starting on FraZe right off the beginning. He's managed to get himself some rockets, and they're going to go quickly hop over to that Mega.
Yeah,
make sure it's a balanced start.
It's a nice position, but he's kind of lacking on the LG right now. This could be pretty good for Toxic if he catches FraZe in the right way, but look at FraZe, he's being really sneaky here. Really sneaky there. Toxic did predict that positioning, and look, he was just waiting there for it.
Like it.
Toxic of Ice Climbers, and FraZe, you know, not much exchange between the two. They're both very, very cautious at the moment, both understanding exactly how one another is positioning. And finally, wow, that's a really nice rail there from Toxic, pushing FraZe off onto the yellow. Bit of a helping hand, in fact.
Tox manages to make it through the teleport without taking any damage, and now FraZe is going to have to back off. He's not going to be able to get on that Mega. He's been relegated to the yellow, but Tox is just hitting rail after rail. No one can stop this man at the moment. And while going for the air rocket, knocks him off the wall, and FraZe, he's going to hit the ground. Wow. 1 to -1, and Tox, oh my god, he's just not missing at this point. Is he going to be able to clean this one up with the lightning gun? He's going to be chasing up and looking very calm in his actions. And FraZe maybe he's going to have newfound respect now for Tox's aim.
Well, Tox is quite the monster when he gets...
100%, and he's got 3 impressives.
Yeah, he's just ridiculous. He's one of those players that just can be so unshakable. Is the way he may have some of the best psychology of any kind of player out there, professional player. I mean, he displayed that in his past, in his prime. Tox is kind of back now in a more casual setting, but he's always going to be the same. Just a dangerous machine, and that's what he's showing FraZe right now. But FraZe, you know, he can stop this momentum, but Toxic's reached that incredibly dangerous stack where things can just... FraZe could easily use 10 frags here. Toxic just almost deciding to use a rail, but not quite, switching back to the LG.
Searching the angle, not going to find it. And yeah, FraZe is going to have to be really careful. We've seen that he likes to go fairly aggressive, you know, doing damage wherever he can. But those situations are going to be far and far between. And there it is, Tox getting another kill on Mega, well before it spawns, in fact. He's let FraZe get 100 armor here. What can FraZe do with this?
Yeah, definitely the pressure's on FraZe again. He gets an opportunity for the first time in this Toxicity match to try to make something of his armor. And
that was good
even,
FraZe, really good.
even Toxic missing some shots, so he's got some space to breathe. But Toxic's going to hit one there as FraZe is closing on the Mega spot. But there he goes again at the mid-ranges. Toxic missing another one. Again, giving some FraZe some opportunities here. But Toxic will pick up this red, and Mega's coming soon. So Toxic's got to get in position for that Mega. He hits a good rail. That's going to help his efforts for this Mega.
FraZe just trying to get some damage off it. It's almost like when he's able to hit a rail without it being returned. If he can do that a few times, I think he can really carve himself some fantastic opportunities. Being careful, wants to get that top yellow armor. Gonna move through the teleporter, but it's all red all the way on the other side that Tox has got his attention on.
Definitely look at this little trap set by Toxic there, just being very sneaky, but
nice move there by FraZe, great damage, LG to rail, and responded in the end. That's what he needs to do. If he can keep on doing that, then I certainly see him getting off these exits. Hits another rail, got to be careful of that lightning gun. Is he going to go for the killing blow? Mega up though on the other side, and FraZe may have just lost a small window. Great rocket, but 75 health left. He is railable at this point. Those shards going to just push him up a little.
I was not expecting that, and Toxic now, he is looking quite fragile for the first time, and there goes one good rocket from FraZe, follows it up with a fantastic rail, looks for the next one, but Toxic will deny him. We said Fox there, but actually Toxic, he's back on 50 armor, so once again he returns to this fragile state, spies the yellow, going to grab that to remedy that situation. Mega's coming up there, and FraZe going to drop for that yellow, crucial error there. Look at the just surgical precision of Toxic's aggression there. It is just effortless.
The damage is just insane. And we've got red spawn here. Tox back up to fully loaded. How much can he push in? Oh no, FraZe is in fact going to push him and give him the opportunity on a platter. 6 to -1 now. We're 4 minutes in. FraZe though, his plasma's not being too bad, but he can't put enough really to scare off Tox whatsoever.
Indeed, and Toxic as he is below. There's no way that FraZe can jump across. And Toxic going to reposition now. He's got so much play with this like immense amount of resources that he's just collected. He's just picked up another Mega. This could even be a free red now. If FraZe can't do any damage before he falls, he's clearly going to fall here. Toxic's got so much pressure on him. He jumps straight into it. Just look at the LG spam everywhere. FraZe.
Oh, there's the rail right at the end. Just as I thought the opportunity was lost, he gets the kill in the end. Pumps up his ammunition a little bit. FraZe might drop once more. Elegant moves here from Tox, improvising with all the rocket splash at his feet.
Thinking about how Toxic used to be in the Quake 4 days, it does make sense that he's a monster on a map like this. Now he's like started to learn it and everything. You can really see like how it plays to his skill sets. His ruthless aiming. It's just so strong. And FraZe, he's really hard pressed to find a way to overcome it. He's had a couple opportunities so far in a way. He got Toxic on 50 armor, but the windows of opportunity rapidly closed, and FraZe wasn't able to take any kind of edges in time.
I wonder how FraZe is going to counter this absolute aim beast. And there isn't really the Australian Tox, and I wonder how FraZe would be able to prepare for this situation ahead of time. This might have to be all, played by ear.
Toxic sprinting on over towards that yellow armor, finds himself a FraZe, tries to close the angle down, but FraZe does just disappear behind it, and there, Toxic missing another few rails. And we can see, he's hitting a lot, but he uses the rail very liberally. He doesn't really try to save it for anything really, he does throw out a lot of rails, and his percentage is over 50, and considering that, it's quite impressive. And he does have this red up here, but he's got to be careful that FraZe doesn't delay him for too long. Perfect move there from Toxic. Absolutely so smart from Toxic to push in
FraZe
there.
though, his damage. Tox missed a few shots and actually lost out on a lot of his health. Even though it was a good fight for Tox initially, he might be able to get onto this Mega as well. Oh, takes one rocket up at the end. But he still secures that blue bubble. And he is even going to deny top yellow. Now to check out the spawns. Where is FraZe going to be?
Yeah.
Actually, he's not at lower yellow, so he might go down again in a second unless he can pick up some kind of armor. Does hit a good rail, actually, unreturned on this occasion. That's barely happened this map. And here's a move that, the rocket could get the kill. Tox is so low. This is the opportunity FraZe has been working for. Oh, the rail misses. He needs to hit it. If he can't hit it and Tox stacks up, that could be opportunity lost for the entire game. And Tox has got the yellow behind him. He does manage to pick it up. Wow, and I don't know what FraZe can do. If he gives any more to Tox, then this is so troublesome. There's a nice move there, and he is going to pick up the kill. At last, he is off the negatives. A rail into the acid. Should be one more here for FraZe. And he's going to have to work quickly.
Oh, beautiful there from FraZe. He's got to play it perfectly. So far, he's playing the spawns very, very efficiently. He's got to keep this up, though. He's got to now it's a race against the clock for FraZe to get 9 frags in 2.5 minutes. It's going to be tough. But FraZe is up to the challenge as he picks off one more there. Doesn't take any damage to, so that's such a good sign here for FraZe. But Toxic does spawn an LG and a yellow armor. It's going to help massively in its chances. FraZe, he's taking so much damage.
He's got Mega Rub. He's got to take it quickly and rush over to that red armor. He cannot let Tox take this. He's checking the angles. Tox hits an amazing rocket, and there it is. Shuts him down. Now it's 12-3. We saw an amazing series of plays from FraZe to pick up 4 kills. But Tox, as soon as that first rocket hit, you can see exactly what was going to happen.
Certainly, and now Toxic, having just completely destroyed all of the momentum of FraZe, he's just got to keep this defensive posturing alive, just keep playing for the defense, playing for those rockets. Good rail as well, and he can just keep himself alive, delaying, and then eventually FraZe will just run out of time.
Oh my, the
rockets though.
Wow. I can't believe he picked up the kill there. He's weak. If Tox hits the rail, then he's going to go down, and he actually respects that. There it is. The rail hits immediately. He's got to dodge this, but Tox does not miss when he hasn't got any choice. That is beautiful.
Shooting so many rails is Toxic. And missing one there, but it wasn't really consequential.
No,
FraZe wasn't going to move in either way.
Really?
Exactly, yeah. All the ones that would result in a frag, or to stop FraZe taking an item or getting control, he hits those. But there you go, FraZe took one rail there. The damage is done from Toxic.
Oh, that rocket. And FraZe doesn't even get the rail off. He's just around the corner. Is he going to go for a push? Well, it's too late to get the kill now. Only 80 damage from the rail. And Tox well above that threshold.
Certainly, so it's looking like Toxic with just this amazing control of these angles is looking really good to take the first map, which is of course a FraZe map. This should really be the map of FraZe, but it's going to seem like FraZe is doing what Demon used to do when Demon used to pick Hectic and didn't lose. His home map.
Well, maybe things can change a lot. Blood Run, definitely very popular over in Australia, and I think FraZe is definitely going to give Tox a run for his money there. And he has played immensely. Scores might be 9 in difference, but FraZe has definitely had some moments where he's been shining and really been able to put pressure onto Tox. It's just been too little, too late.
Yeah, Blood Run is going to be a great test as well because it really changes the pace up dramatically. It's going to allow FraZe to really just slow everything down a bit. And there you go, 14-4, the final score for Toxic, and FraZe finds himself losing his home map and one map down in this best of 5 against the beast Toxic. So things aren't looking super well for him now.
800 damage behind. His control was definitely behind, but not too far. He had managed to have more yellow armor, so he was certainly at least being able to play out of control. It's just as soon as he did get the opportunity at the 6.5, 7 minute end, you know, it had to be completely flawless, otherwise, you know, there's no return. And of course, Tox shut it down, and it was almost game over from that point itself. But Blood Run, as we were saying, I think this could be interesting. They're in fact getting ready right now, guys, so we're going to get into game immediately. Tox versus FraZe on map 2. I want to watch FraZe off the beginning of this one and see how he's actually going to be playing Blood Run.
So yeah, FraZe, I mean, he's got the opportunity here, like on Toxicity is a battle of the execution, and he's got a chance here to make it a battle of the strategy, a battle of the tactics as well, and not have to rely so heavily on just these aim duels. And here is the second Reds coming up shortly, and Toxic creeping up on the shotgun, and there it is. FraZe has to defend here, but Toxic wants to get close, he wants to get this frag now, forces FraZe away.
Nice little move from FraZe, doesn't take any additional damage. He's going to be able to get a yellow on it. He does need that lightning gun still, so that could be a bit of a hassle, but as long as he just delays any fights happening until then, it's all okay.
Yeah, he can definitely, I mean, he will be a mega behind, like, that will be more resources that Toxic will have over him, and Toxic delayed it a lot there. He actually delayed it a lot. FraZe won't know when the mega was taken, so if he tries to extrapolate the time based on, you know, typical patterns of pickups, then he's going to get it wrong. So really good move from Toxic there. It cost him nothing to do that as well.
And wow, Tox is going to jump down for the lower yellow, and he's even going to be able to get that red armor afterwards. FraZe still got plenty of armor to work with, and I really like how evasive he's being.
He thinks that the mega should be now as well. He just went down at the regular mega time. He's like, okay, no one's there.
But he wanted the LG. It's a minute and 20 seconds in, and he finally got the lightning gun.
There's the mega.
Oh, I think he might have just spotted that one out.
I think so, yeah. I think he did actually get the time there. That's pretty huge for FraZe. He's going to try to want to, you know, just slow things down and make sure that he can eventually get a play onto that mega, so he can just bide his time until then.
Oh, Tox appears. Just getting useful information about where he is at this point. Red's up, he's going for the LG fight, but he's got to be so careful. Immediately takes nearly 200 damage. And now his armor stack is not looking good.
Yeah, that's a big risk there. I mean, Toxic, he has more stack. He's going to win an open fight with the LG.
Yeah.
So FraZe, I don't know if that you know, use of his armor was really worth it. And if Toxic, Toxic gives away that.
Oh, he's right behind him. There's with the lightning gun.
Wow.
FraZe has got to step away. He goes for the rocket jump. And Red is in fact going to be up in just a second. Tox with a fairly unconventional play. They're almost working in his
I don't
favor.
know if that was on purpose. If it wasn't, it's ingenious that he let him pick it up so he could then punish him, because Toxic already had a 6 stack.
Yes,
So that was pretty smart by Toxic.
Wow, FraZe has suddenly just stacked up massively. He's in fact got 10 more armor than Tox at this point.
So FraZe is chilling over at the rocket launcher. Mega's coming up again shortly, but he's not confident. He knows where Toxic's going to attack it from, so he's just staying back right now. There's Toxic making his presence known, and the rails are exchanged.
That was a jump up from Tox, so FraZe is going to be denied that red as well. He's just going to be crossing his fingers for this lower yellow. Yeah,
Still
Tox,
0-0 though.
It is, and this is just good for FraZe. If he can get a good rocket fight, I think that's where the money's going to be at for FraZe.
Certainly, and he's just, again, biding his time. And if Toxic appears, he can just drift through the teleporter. No harm done. There it is, exactly. And he just doesn't want to take damage. He doesn't really mind too much if it takes him, you know, he gets 50 armor every 25 seconds. He doesn't mind that too much. He just wants to make sure he doesn't take damage and go back to square zero, because this is the kind of stack where you can start to do stuff. If you don't get to this stack, then it's kind of useless. So he's protecting that. And now he's even going to get another yellow. So this is a good spot for FraZe to make a play.
Oh,
And,
the rail hits
Toxic.
straight away. FraZe can get a couple of shards, but that doesn't really make him feel better after the couple of yellows he's been trying to pick up. Top yellow going to be up in a second though. And FraZe probably not going to care so much about the LG ammunition. That's not what the fight team was picking. Oh, Tox is going to follow him down to the bottom. This is bad news here for FraZe. He needs to hit some good rockets, but they're just not good enough. Tox gets first blood here on map 2.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for FraZe. His positioning didn't allow him to really defend that very well. And now Toxic is just, he's got the first frag. And that's terrible because FraZe, he has to chase the frag now. Toxic doesn't have to. He can just run around, play the war of attrition, do really safe plays. Look at that great ambush there from FraZe.
Oh,
Wow.
rockets were spectacular.
Oh.
But FraZe's got his back turned. He did not think that that Tox would push through the teleport.
I didn't think he would either. I thought that was kind of crazy, but he left it the exact right amount of time.
Exactly.
It's kind of what Cypher tends to do a lot of the time as
FraZe
well.
probably just turned his head around at that point. And look at that, he's going through the air. Oh, Tox misses the rail though. FraZe is going to be allowed to survive for a little bit longer.
Allowed is the correct word because he never misses those shots.
Yeah.
And there is the red up on the spot for Toxic. He shut down that choke point. There's going to be no approach for FraZe, gifting that red to Toxic. And with the Mega coming up soon, he's going to just be concerned about setting up a nice defense here, getting that yellow, and just, again, just allowing FraZe to come to him. FraZe will bring more frags to him because FraZe has to go and chase for that tied game situation. And Toxic can just chill. He can
It's still
sit back.
5 minutes though. Still 5. So FraZe could still go passively for 3 minutes or so. And look at this. He's going to find Tox. The LG just glued to his hitbox.
Oh, and he actually catches a bullet off the spawn there. So he knows exactly where FraZe is. And that's going to really help him out in shutting the angles down for FraZe to stop him from getting into the spots on the map that he wants to. And Toxic is going to even steal away this yellow. And it's really smart of FraZe to double back onto the other yellow there. And here goes FraZe in the corner, but he was spotted by Toxic.
He just rocket jumped away. He did not want to be anywhere near him. And FraZe got this red up in a second. FraZe can win this. Yeah, Tox was in a corner. FraZe has just got an extra load of armor. Extremely useful now, but vertical rails hitting. FraZe gets hit by another one. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear screams. And there's going to be one. Super frustrating. 50 health left here for the Australian. Tox just drops on him. 4-0 now. And, well, if Tox wins this map, then he will be on match point in this best of 5.
So a lot of damage done, but it wasn't really... I mean, it was a frag for Tox in the end. I mean, the kind of play ended there. Sometimes on some maps you have the strategy where you can, if you time it right, you can sacrifice a few kills to like reverse control. It can play a greater meaning. But there, that was FraZe's play. He got shut down, and Toxic finds himself a frag up, and now FraZe is in a worse situation than before. And now the time is really starting to really hurt FraZe. But he can still, he still has one more chance, I think, to make a slow play.
Tox hitting 83% rail. I mean, he's only fired 6 shots, but that's, stats are stats. Very curious how Tox is going to play this control. He's actually going to jump back and double check. It's like, okay, red, easy peasy. And, well, he's going to be fully loaded again. And I'm checking out FraZe. He's on 100-100. Oh, and he makes the jump on, but Tox was right around the corner. FraZe loses everything that he's been working for.
Toxic is an unforgiving machine, and FraZe is really... I'm going to switch over to FraZe. Actually, no, I shouldn't, because here comes some action. That was a nice little trap there. I didn't see that coming. I don't think Toxic did either. I mean, FraZe has been able to do a few plays like that where he's unsuspected in what he's doing for Toxic, but at the same time, it's still the case that Toxic is just ready for it. He can just, oh, okay, you're there? All right, that's fine then. I'll take the fight, because he's always ahead so much.
As long as he's got the right weapon out, then he's usually okay here. Tox making a move, we've got air rockets, everyone FraZe more directs, but it's just not enough when Tox is so stacked. 5-0. Really nice fighting skills though from the Australian. But it's just too little too late, and he didn't have the control really to merit that opportunity, so...
Certainly.
Tough situations here.
And Toxic is proving to us, he's got such a solid game. It's this thing that we expect from him. We expect tight execution. We expect a very solid fundamental game, and that's exactly what he's showing to us so far. And to really throw this off, it takes a really good player to really throw something like this off. And there you go, great drop rail from Toxic, just hitting that as he falls back. And that, again, puts a massive stop in the tracks of FraZe, who now needs to find another way to get it Toxic. But look at the time now, just 90 seconds, and Toxic is 200-200.
Yeah, this is savage. FraZe has got to come up with a miracle right now. He's already lost 250, and by the time I finish my sentence, Tox already cleaning up the kill.
I love that switch to shotgun.
Yeah, it was savage.
At that range, it's actually the best choice if you can hit it, and it's not something you see players confidently do in duel often.
Yeah, well, Tox TDM legend.
Exactly.
He knows how to use that weapon to its maximum.
So 6-0. The 1-minute warning resounds through the corridors of Blood Runners. Toxic probably feels quite confident that this is in the bag at this point. Drops in for a final, I don't know, silencing of FraZe. And FraZe pushed back. Toxic doesn't even feel a scratch. And there you go, all the armor in the world. The Mega as well.
All the health. Alright, he's got the whole lot, so 35 seconds left, and FraZe might already be thinking about how he's going to be dealing with the next match. 7-0 now. Absolutely savage. Gotta say, I think FraZe came into Blood Run with completely the right idea. Playing it slowly, looking for opportunities. Just the thing is, it was so difficult for him to build a good opportunity when Tox was rarely ever surprised by anything he did. So he couldn't get that first rocket or the first moment necessary to unhinge Tox's stack.
There you go, finds FraZe again on the last Mega, and I think that's going to be it. Good game is called by Toxic and FraZe, so 7-0 the score of this Blood Run. So we've had two very one-sided games on the way of Toxic, and I think many people could have potentially predicted that just because he's Toxic. I mean, FraZe is always a bit of a wild card. He's a great player, and it's hard to predict as well. Yeah,
he makes some good decisions. He does some great stuff. It's just the execution there could obviously be improved a lot. And I think when you're picking LG fights against Toxic, you've got to be really careful. This is one of the best LG players in the world. You don't want to be going on a playing field where you've got 100 less armor.
Exactly. I mean, there was that one fight which was very. It's not typical of a great decision on Blood Run. For example, to let's say you have less stack in an open area against someone who may be LGing better than you. I'll go to this point later on when we finish this series. But we're getting live here. It's FraZe and Toxic. Oh, okay. FraZe is going to his earpiece fell out. So
we've got a moment.
We have a moment, so I don't know if I should make the point now because I don't know if we have enough time.
We'll be getting into game in just a second, but I don't know if you want to quickly talk. You're talking about the LG level.
Yep.
Let's see.
There we go.
He doesn't want you to talk.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Here we go. FraZe and Toxic are getting ready. It is match point now for Toxic here on Furious Heights. Of course, this is DreamHack Winter 2013, and we're live with FraZe to begin with. Once again, can he make amends?
He's going to have to, otherwise he's going to be seeing him exit this group game at a 3-0 loss. And that just, that should not be right for him. He just lost 3-1 to Demon.
He didn't come all the way from Australia for these results.
Oh, good rocket stone from FraZe. 5 seconds still until that red armor. FraZe knows exactly when it's up. He hits another fantastic shot and the rail afterwards.
Beautiful.
First blood there for the Australian.
Very nice stuff there. And
that's
he's
exactly
looking
what he needed
to expand on this, but first he's got to raid in Toxic once again. Got a good amount of time before the next items are actually spawning, good 10 seconds or so. Look at that, Toxic, oh my god, he's doing so much damage. FraZe didn't expect this, but that rocket response was absolutely crucial. Had he not hit that, he may have even died there. And just the fact that Toxic was able to engineer that situation to begin with was phenomenal. But FraZe, crisis management on top of things right now.
It's a problem though, because Tox did in fact steal away that red armor, so he's working with a decent amount of resources. FraZe does get some extra. He's just got to really survive and pick his fight well at this red. If not, just waste Tox's time and wait for that Mega to spawn.
There you go.
Amazing rail by Tox, so fast to get to that angle. And FraZe might not even be able to get this item now. Oh, Tox is right behind him. Surprise. And he is on the board. But still another frag needed if he wants to tie the game up. FraZe can still do something here.
And red's coming up. I mean, FraZe could make it still. He's just going to go for a pause. And so, I mean, the position of Toxic is really good here. Of course, he's got plenty of time to just situate himself on the red armor. And then after that, he's looking at really being able to, I mean, it's going to be a case of him making a read, taking some good position, and with that read bait being able to apply some damage, he's got a lot of options from that. So we're going to see Toxic really settling into some solid control after this red pickup where he just chills. You can actually see he's actually leaving it up a little bit, so he's banking on the fact that FraZe wouldn't feel comfortable taking it, and instead he just wait high, but he didn't actually go for that. So actually that risk by Toxic to get another frag to equalize turned out to go in the way of FraZe.
Yeah, I mean, he's got an extra bit of armor to play with. He might not have the health, but there's certainly going to be some bubbles around the map that can regen him up a little bit. Tox still on a healthy stack. I'm looking at FraZe at the moment. He's managed. Oh no, he jumped for rail in that little water, but he missed the pickup. But he has got 200 armor himself, so he's looking very decent. Just desperately needs some weapons at this point, which Tox has plenty of.
And there you go, the Tox spot, as it is called, and there he does find, it's named it for a reason, he finds fantastic rockets,
wow.
but somehow, some way, FraZe manages to make that into a mutual
clutch.
frag, and it's still 3-2 in favor of FraZe, but he is so flimsy, so fragile in the situation. He needs to re-establish control, but it's going to be split map, I'm afraid, for him.
Well, to be honest, I think that's okay. That fight looked like it was going to be Tox eliminating FraZe, barely being scratched. But FraZe also was hitting direct rocket after direct rocket. I think that was the best he could have got after that opening shot from Tox.
And Red up soon, Toxic there on the pillar to defend it. So much damage sustained by FraZe before he can even respond, and that's going to send him all the way back to Mega. But the thing is that's such a good amount of time between Red and Mega that Toxic's going to be here in full force, surely. Where is he? There he is, coming from the Toxic spot, and he does force FraZe away. FraZe knows he has no business even facing Toxic, but look, he's going to have to do it anyway. Hits a direct rocket, has to hit something else. It has to be huge, but it can't be. It's going to be the frag for Toxic, and the Red as well.
Yeah, he's actually opts to go for the red first time. Oh, FraZe, he's got the rockets out. He never went for the mega health. He's so weak.
Wow.
There's the flick shot from Tox as he takes the lead.
That
Aggressive
was
plays.
very nice.
There's a couple of plasma balls there, both of them hitting, but fair enough. Tox definitely got the overwhelming control at this point, and certainly after hitting a rail like that, FraZe might be trapped in this area. He's just got to leg it somehow, and Tox hitting everything. 60% rail we're getting from him.
49 points of health, no armor at all to work with. And Toxic is just running around like a tank, and he can't be stopped. FraZe so far has been doing a great job, but this is really a telling moment. Oh, the rockets from FraZe are really strong there. And but, I mean, Toxic will finish him off, but maybe with those rockets, he actually gives himself a chance. If he can just get a bit more lucky, do some crazy play. That rocket again was good, but every single item is up on the spot. Toxic has a decision. What does he go for? FraZe is going to be able to get that mega. So
something extra to work with.
This could have worked out for FraZe, even though he lost 2 frags.
He did good enough damage to Tox in that opportunity to get a little bit of space to pick up some items.
I think
Tox let him go. Didn't want to hit a rail in that spot. I find that unusual.
I think being 2 frags behind is much, and being in this situation is much better than where he was. And Toxic having sick control. Because now he's got position on that red. Toxic hits a great rail, but nevertheless, FraZe does pick up that red. And Toxic forced to some hard shots, which he is able to hit because he's Toxic. And FraZe dancing around that yellow. This is this
hit. I think FraZe is missing all of his shots. It's going to be Tox jumping over to that mega health. Need a rocket, a good rocket here from FraZe. He hits him and misses the follow-up. He could have actually brought himself to 2 frags of difference.
But he's going to win the red now. But the thing is that this happened before as well. It's a really close situation where he gave up a couple of frags but put himself in a much better spot. But still, eventually, Toxic closed it out. And he's got that situation again. He has to make good of this now. And he's got Toxic's back against the wall, but he hasn't got the weapons. No way. He needs an LG there so badly.
Yeah. He absolutely does, and FraZe has to win a fight in a second, because otherwise Tox is going to be picking up one of these major items. Actually, Tox is going to be legging it over to that mega. FraZe got plenty of armor to work with, but the fight's certainly going to be hugely challenging for him.
And Toxic, that's a nice little spot there, that little nook that he's hiding in, waiting for FraZe to emerge from that upper yellow area.
FraZe is coming down from the bottom, he's going to get the rail off. Good work here by FraZe. Oh, and Tox goes through, and he actually gets caught out a huge amount, doesn't even get the 50 health bubble. FraZe can get rid of this.
That was beautiful. He single-handedly won the red armor with that play.
And the mega. He's going to win a load of items from this. Tox trying to get himself out of this area. And just about makes it.
It's the right way out. It's not. He's met with a rail, and that's very devastating there. He's basically a walking corpse. He can't really do anything.
Ow.
Did he just hit a direct grenade?
He did.
That cheeky Swedish machine. And he's going to try to just survive here. And this is just about prolonging, making sure that when he spawns, he's giving it as much chance as possible for there to be a bunch of items up where he spawns. That's like what this is right now.
I don't know how he's going to do that. FraZe is going to chase up to the top, but he's out of ammunition.
Oh,
so many weapons, but it's fine.
Lets him die.
Tox had no health. FraZe has got to be fast, because that mega is up in a second, and he needs to be there. And he's now got weapons. Tox, though, he's picked up armor. That hurts so much.
That was like the worst possible thing that could have happened for FraZe, but then Toxic misses the jump.
I didn't see that. And FraZe is missing his rails once again, though. He still has time. He can back off to this red. And he will be okay for the time being, but next 30 seconds or so, he can carve himself another opportunity.
And I mean, it was quite amazing because, Toxic with that LG shut him down in the most, that was the only way it could have happened for Toxic to be, get in a position that was so good, was for him to catch him going for the choke point like that. And then Toxic missed the jump, which gave FraZe the opportunity, but he couldn't find it though. And Toxic now, he's got, look at how defensive he's being. And he's got quite a stack. He could quite easily go for a bit of a ballsy play onto the red, but he's deciding to be really defensive now.
Yeah, FraZe has just got red and Mega back to back. He's completely fully loaded at this point. FraZe is going to have to be a bit stronger than Rel. He's hitting 22% with that weapon. And this has been a big reason as to why he hasn't got more frags already. Good LG there from FraZe, but the Rocket's hurting a huge amount. And actually, Tox drops down a little bit prematurely. He tries to get on the red, but he's not going to make it. FraZe brings it to 2 a difference. And there's still time for him to do this.
And FraZe is looking for the next one. He's got the LG, but look at how much damage Toxic's able to do with so little. It's just really just this match over and over again. Just Toxic able to do so much with so little. And FraZe, he's kept it so close though. Great rail indeed, and that's going to should help.
Oh, he's
but
so low. He needs to hit it. He gets the rail. Mega's up though. He's going for the health.
Oh my god, he can do this.
Oh, he found him. This is going to be the tied game. He needs to hit the shot. He's going to make it.
Unbelievable.
He's got the 50 health level. Tox spawns on the side. FraZe can pick up this Mega health, and he can actually take the lead at this point.
And he hits the next rail again.
He's got only LG remaining. There's the lead.
That grenade.
FraZe clutching immensely over here, and now he's going to be able to get a bit more ammunition. Tox is on the side. There's the direct rocket. He's taken it to 8-6, and he's got red armor right in front of him.
Such beautiful stuff from FraZe. He's even going to get one off the spawn.
The air rocket!
He pushed Toxic off, and Toxic is going to die again.
Wow.
4 frags in just no time, like 30 seconds. He just exploded. The amount of clutch is just off the charts. This was why everyone used to be so excited to watch FraZe. When it counted, he's always able to clutch it down, and that's exactly what he did with those rails. Toxic goes for the aggression. He knows it's the only thing he can do, and that is going to be it. Surely, there's no way Toxic can bring this back now.
Look at the LG coming through. The shotgun not even going to work. FraZe just jumping towards him. He had to clutch it at some point. This is the 3rd map. He was 2-0 down, and he is looking strong. Guys, that is going to be GG 11-6 for FraZe.
Wow, 11-6. This, again, this is what I'd actually forgotten. That this is what made FraZe. This is what actually made FraZe really special before. Was that he had so many moments like this where he would just, it would look really bad for him, and then out of nowhere, boom, he would just, I don't know what he does. He just shifts into the next gear, and he does stuff like this.
There's 250 damage between them. I'm trying to think, what was the damage difference between them before FraZe made that comeback? Because he did at 1K plus. It was extraordinary.
I just don't know. It's just ridiculous. It is so clutch. So.
And they're sitting on Cure.
That's what FraZe is about, the clutch plays.
Yeah,
it seems like
he needs to do it again.
To be honest, again, when he really hits his comfort, that's when he starts to do stuff like that. We used to see that a lot in the Face It cuts back when he was in Europe. He used to, when he really got into the swing of things, that kind of stuff wasn't so unfamiliar, or it wasn't so infrequent that would happen with FraZe. Yeah. So does this mean that maybe he's starting to find his feet, starting to find his comfort here on the stage as well? Because he's going to go up against Toxic on Cure. We're going to have to find out.
They've just got into game, guys. Let's get into map number 4. It is Cure between FraZe and Tox. He has found a second wind. And what's he going to be able to make out of it? Getting the red. He's got the rail already. Looking pretty decent at this point, but he never made a challenge onto the yellow. I wonder if Tox is going to let him get onto that lightning gun anytime soon.
That is quite an interesting question. It is a weapon you can control very well on this map, and there goes Toxic with the shotgun, as he is known to do, dropping a bit of the LG, finds a bit more damage here. Toxic very, very good at chipping away at his opponents.
Yeah, I think that's the right word to use.
And this was often his role in TDM. It used to be just deal loads of damage, no matter what you have, deal damage, and we see him doing that with shotgun, with machine gun, with any weapon, he does it.
Oh, he's got to find as he misses the rail and the rocket afterwards. Not going to be happy with that. Tox gets the first kill with relative ease there. And this yellow, is FraZe going to make a play for this? No, he is completely abandoning ship. Maybe he's going to get red, because Tox is quite far out at this point, and he's above, so if FraZe were there, he'd be able to pick it up, but he's in fact, no, he sees it in fact, it's been up for a while. Tox just didn't check it.
And Toxic
Maybe he just went a little bit too far out looking for damage, and FraZe just finding it. A strange situation arising, but with good opportunity now for the Australian. What can he do with this?
And Toxic was a bit surprised at the positioning of FraZe, but now he knows what's up, and he's going to try to drop and close the distance, and he does it again with the LG. This is what the first frag looked like. And will he make the second one look like that as well? And it seems like he will. FraZe getting caught without any escape options against close-range LG super stacked Toxic. Not gonna work. Steals away the red, misses the direct that would have made it all okay, and
he
now
all of his directs, man. There's barely any damage coming from FraZe. His rockets and some of the fights have been decent, but he needs to step it back up to the level that it was on Furious Heights.
yeah, it's definitely leaving a lot to be wanted for as Toxic. I mean, if he gets this next red without much damage received, it's going to be quite scary. Oh, wow, those rockets are very strong there. Gives FraZe a massive opti here. Toxic has to back away. He knows it, and he is. Oh, but look at that.
Get the kill for FraZe. And Toxic just manages to escape in time to that red. FraZe does pick up. Oh, he's swimming in the water. He's got to get out of here.
I got to say that Toxic, you can see how well he understands the game tactically, because he understood how to use weapons to maximize their damage output. When he jumped in for the LG, he saw an opportunity. It's not because he changed his mind about being defensive. He just knew that that could deal so much damage. It's always worth it. And he spotted that in half a second. And even catches FraZe out the teleporter here. FraZe, he's not finding any luck right now.
And he's going to need more than just that if he wants to beat the Tox. Tox actually just waiting and listening, trying to plan his next move on him, trying to extend his lead a little further with all this control that he's got. And Yellow's been taken. He is, of course, he's going to hit that little peak rail. And Red up in a moment, he's going to have to guard the area. Okay, he finds FraZe on the side. There's the LG. FraZe with good rockets again. But once more, not enough, and Tox is going to restack.
It almost seems too easy. I mean, in that frag there, it was all about Toxic predicting how FraZe would attack Red Armor, because he knew that FraZe wasn't comfortable just doing a big, upright engagement. He knew FraZe would stick to the outskirts, and that's where he found him. And now hitting shots like that, it's really tough. I mean, the only way I can really see FraZe bringing this back is if he starts playing the Cure, where you just hug all those greens, play really defensively on these choke points on the upper areas, and getting the shards and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually going to look at FraZe for a little bit. We're 4 minutes into this game. Can we switch over to his cam for a second? Oh, they're actually in a fight at the moment. And FraZe, he's going to be trying to defend this teleport, but Tox is right above him, and Ellie's going to be a disintegrate there. He wasn't even prepared for where he would have been. He was expecting, okay, you're going to come through the shards, through the 50 health bubble button.
We've seen a lot of that this Cure game between these two. A lot of plays, Toxic was just like, that's pretty obvious, and he catches him. And
wow.
Oh man.
A rail at the end.
I'm starting to think
work of art.
that is the signature Toxic move at the moment. The LG for about 10 cells, and then boom, a rail at the end.
Just when it looks as if the angle's no longer there.
It's almost like watching CPM Jewel or something. It's with an instant weapon switch, LG to rail. It's very common in that game. And Toxic making it work really, really well. And so far, FraZe has yet to really find anything. We're approaching the halfway mark on Cure now.
Yeah. A lot of people might have thought that, okay, Tox might struggle a little bit on the newer maps. It's something he really would have had to work on. He's often, of course he adores the old maps, is what he's been working with for such a long time. But I think from his game against FraZe right now, he's looking pretty decent. This is reminding me a lot of, actually, Demon versus FraZe, where FraZe is such beautiful rails.
Ridiculous rating. That is just Toxic, really. Those kinds of rails, those kinds of angles.
Can that be his signature move as well?
He hits stuff like that with no one else.
And he's still maintaining such an enormous stack. I don't know how FraZe is going to be able to find another one of those fights that work in his favor quite like on T7. I've got Mega over there, but not a hope in hell for FraZe to pick up that item.
And there goes Toxic straight onto that yellow. He knows FraZe is lurking, finds him. There goes FraZe, tries to punish, he gets one rail, but it's going to require a lot more than that. Most of it's, in fact, almost all of it's just healed up there by the shards in the yellow and the 25 and the 5 HP bubbles. Toxic gets to pick up everything on Cure. It all belongs to him. His name is just burned into every item on the map.
I'm just having a little look at the control at this point. 1 mega we've had for FraZe and 3 reds compared to 10 reds and 8 megas for Tox. And, not so good. FraZe is hitting 50% rail, but he's only fired 4. And in my opinion, there's a weapon that he should be using a lot more of. Getting those angles from a distance, and I see an opportunity like that. He should maybe be there waiting for it a few moments earlier.
And Toxic just waiting to take the red. You can see there's no rush at all because it doesn't matter too much. Like the mega, he synced it up nicely for that, and it's fine. There's not many items to be concerned about. He's going to try to catch FraZe once again. But at this point, it's just adding insult to injury because he's done the biggest amount of damage to FraZe. He's got this 7 frag lead. It's going to be so hard for FraZe to attack this. You can see he tried to attack into the mega spot there. But again, every time he tries to play the outskirts, Toxic's there because he reads it.
FraZe did actually manage to build up 150 up before, well, all those rockets came flying at him. And FraZe back up to 100, so maybe he can do something soon, but it's going to have to be first rocket, first rail, first something hitting onto Tox. And he's actually finally gets the lightning. I don't know how long he's been alive now without that weapon.
Wow, did he hit that rail? My
No,
God.
he missed that rail.
I just got to double check because it's Toxic. But yeah, FraZe definitely he's saying he needs to get the trap. Good rails there.
By FraZe. Finally a fight that's going into his favor. Tox coming around the corner. LG on LG. Good rocket again from FraZe. Can he follow up from this one? 14 health left for Tox, and FraZe finally winning himself a situation. 50 health although taken by the Swede, and he finds him. There it is. FraZe is on the board. And with 2 minutes left, he has got to go overtime now to get overtime.
Out of all the players playing today, he's one of the players I like most at making comebacks like these.
Oh, Tox is in the water! There's going to be another there for the Australian. And it's going to be red up in just a second. FraZe can maybe try and perpetuate his control a bit. Great rockets there from Tox. 14 health left. There needs to be a rail here from FraZe or something to get the kill, but it's going to be the splash that takes him down. And we've got 90 seconds left. Tox just picking up that red. And this might be enough to wean him into the victory.
Yeah,
sure, the 6 frags as well there, but if FraZe got a clean kill or managed to get items after them, we've seen comebacks like this before.
Yeah, that felt like FraZe's best opportunity, and looks like Toxic is going to be good. Look at him, just working these defensive angles around these corners, and I mean he's just running. He is just running. He knows that's all he has to do, so he's just doing it. And FraZe has to be the one that out executes massively so, because it's so much harder to chase than it is to just run away.
Oh, Tox chopped down by accident, but it almost worked to his way. He didn't manage to hit the shot though. And now 60 seconds. And well, I'm watching FraZe on my end right now, and he's got to do something absolutely crazy at this point. But it is in fact Tox that's doing the mad rocket jumps on him. He might even drop down and finish it off. It's going to be a rail between the eyes. 9-2 now. And well, this is going to be the victory lap for him now. In fact, that is GG called. Well played.
So 9-2 there on Cure.
That's 3-1 map victory here for Tox to FraZe.
Yeah, so definitely Tox is looking in decent shape, to say the least, and FraZe showed some great stuff as well. Definitely.
He showed some awesome stuff.
Oh yeah,
to be honest.
I mean, the Furious Heights, boom.
I was shivering towards the end of that because
it took me by surprise.
Yeah.
Totally.
All of a sudden, it's just explosion and then fragged. I've never seen Tox really so defenseless in certain situations. FraZe was all over him, but then right back into Cure, managing to secure it pretty nicely.
Yeah, I mean, to me, what it was on Cure was it seemed like there were so many situations that were repeated where Toxic was able to correctly predict where, because he would understand FraZe's stack. And he's like, okay, FraZe probably wants to make a play on red or mega in this way, and it was by playing the outskirts. And he always predicted the right kind of way FraZe was coming. Yeah. And it just looked easy for quite a while until the last 2 minutes when FraZe scored that kill. Looked pretty easy overall, just because because when you're able to predict someone like that, even if some of it's by luck, it just makes it look quite kind of easy. So.
That's true. Well, FraZe has played his higher tier partner, which was Demon. He lost 3-1. He's just lost 3-1 to Tox. He's still got FraZe to play against. It's fine if he wins against all the mid and low tier players. He could still go through the groups, but he would go through the group in 4th place. Unless he beats FraZe, of course. Definitely certain things that could go on there. I'm very interested.